Assalamu alaikum students, hope all of you are very fine. Today the topic which I am going to discuss with you, that is the initial years of Pakistan. It is for the month of March and April. Here are certain objectives. You people will be able to analyze the strength of Pakistan after 1947, and you also will be able to know about the problems faced by Pakistan after 1947. Here the very first topic which I would like to discuss with you, that is how did Pakistan established itself as a strong modern state in the years after 1947. As we know that Pakistan gained independence on 14th August 1947. They worked very hard for the establishment of the new government despite the numerous challenges and problems it faced. And we know when Pakistan came into being, it was facing different challenges and the problems. Jawaharlal Nehru believed that Pakistan would not survive as a nation beyond 6 months of time, but Mr. Jinnah laid the foundation of the new state on such solid grounds that it has stood the test of time and is stayed strong for over 70 years now. It is said that different other leaders as well, they said they believed that Pakistan could not survive not more than 6 months. But Mr. Jinnah, he proved it himself, being a strong leader, and then he put the foundation of a new state. So in the same way, the communal violence were going on that took the lives of the thousands of people. The morale of the people was low. People became very frustrated. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah gave a number of rousing speeches of the country, also emphasized upon the importance of putting their new identity as Pakistanis above their old loyalties to a particular region. Quaid-e-Azam believed that now people are Pakistanis, they are no more Indians. Pakistan is the embodiment of the unity of the Muslim nation, and so it must remain. Pakistan is considered as a symbol, a great symbol form of the unity for the Muslims. So he wanted that it must be same. The unity we as true Muslim must guard and preserve. Quaid-e-Azam strongly believed that we must be a unit, right, in front of the world. If we begin to think ourselves as Bengalis, Punjabis, Sindhis, etc., first, and Muslims and Pakistanis only incidentally, then Pakistan is bound to disintegrate. It is said that we need to focus on Pakistanis rather than other communities. Okay, he also insisted that while the people could use their regional languages, but the state language for Pakistan should be Urdu. So Urdu became a national language. Quaid-e-Azam quickly set up all the important functions of the state, including cabinet government under Liaquat Ali Khan and the first Prime Minister of Pakistan, the State Bank and the armed forces. These were the important factors which Pakistan needed to be considered. Okay, he also realized the importance of the membership of the United Nations for Pakistan, so that all the issues and the problems and the situations must be considered right in front of the United Nations. Okay, there are certain issues and the problems which were going on just after independence of Pakistan. The first one is the unfair division of the boundaries. The Boundary Commission had deprived Pakistan of many Muslim majority areas, particularly those which were strategically important to its economy and geography. When they have margined the line for the boundary, unfortunately, it was not focused for Pakistan that the areas they were not became the part of Pakistan. They don't have. They were far from the economic stability. Another is the canal water dispute. As we know that Pakistan depend on its agriculture areas, so the agriculture sector of Pakistan relied heavily on irrigation from the canal irrigation system, which drew water from three western rivers: the Indus, the Jhelum, the Chenab; three eastern rivers: the Beas, the Ravi, and Satluj. In 1948, we have seen that India shut off the water supply to Pakistan and laid the waste millions of acres of cropland apart from causing extreme water crisis in the affected areas. So India has the same issue, but unfortunately it was not in the favor of Pakistan. So India stopped the water supply for Pakistan. It was restored only after Pakistan agreed to pay for it. It is said that Pakistan has to pay something for that. In 1956, India began to build small dams on the western rivers to generate hydroelectric power, so which greatly affected the water supply to Pakistan. So when India has made certain dams, it was a great damage for Pakistan as well. In 1960, the Indus Water Treaty was signed, right? And this was the agreement which brought peace and water security for Pakistan. And in 1980s, over Indian plans for building water projects on the river Jhelum in particular. So in 1980s, 1916 and 80s, these eras were very important for the stability of Pakistan. Another important problem, that was administrative problem. The country was neither equipped with experienced professionals in the military and civil service departments, nor had adequate resources to set up the administrative systems of the new government. So, being a very small newborn state, Pakistan was facing different issues, particularly unexperienced people, professionals in the military as well, and the civil services departments. So they had to work on it since starting. The assets of the British India were divided on the basis of the size and population of the respective countries. So the most of the things were actually under the property of India. When Pakistan asked British civil servants and military officers to continue working in British for many months until Pakistanis officers could be trained. So Pakistan wanted to train its people just like British civil servants and military. So the Constituent Assembly formed in 1947 and began to work on drawing on a constitution. Another main and important problem, that is the refugee problems. Pakistan had to cope with accommodating about 7 million refugees in 1947 with insufficient funds and resources. When Pakistan came into being, it did not have certain resources and funds they required. The refugees also suffered a great deal because they had given up their way of life and had to live in makeshift refugee camps. So it was a compulsion that all the refugees they came here in Pakistan, they had to deal with the problem and they have to stay in the camps. Another very important thing, that is the Kashmir issue and the Kashmir conflict, or the main problem. The territory had a Muslim majority population, but the ruler of the state, Maharaja Hari Singh, agreed to join India in October 1947 in return for military help to suppress revolts against his decision. And we know the people who were living over there, they were the Muslims and they were in the majority, and they were actually against of the ruler. He was actually Hindu Raja. So the Pakistan authorities were supported the rebels against Hari Singh, and so this situation developed into the first war between Pakistan and India. It is said the people who were actually the rebels against the Hari Singh and Pakistan was supporting them. So that was unfortunate for Pakistan, and the critical conditions and the war conditions were started between Pakistan and India. And that was lasting until a ceasefire at the beginning of 1949. So the United Nations became involved and issued resolution in April 1948. Here, the milestone achievement we have seen during the early years of Pakistan, when Pakistan started working on the very basic and the important things for an early years of Pakistan. The State Bank of Pakistan, the one thing, and the second, Quaid-e-Azam believed that he must set up the State Bank of Pakistan in 1948 to manage the gold reserves it received upon independence and to issue the new Pakistani currency. So whatever the assets were in the hand of Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam wanted to utilize it. In 74, we have seen the State Bank was nationalized and became even more involved in the country's economic and financial policies in the years ahead. The next thing is the industry. Pakistan needs to focus on the industrial sector as well, so that the economic troubles and the issues must be resolved. Agriculture has always been the main occupation for the Pakistani people. The industrial sector, comprised of manufacturing and services industries, has developed significantly since 1947. The textile industry was developed, which became the backbone of the economy of Pakistan. These were the very important things which were focused on it, and that has actually given a good way of the development. Constitutional reforms. These were the important reforms which were held to run a country. After the death of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1948, Khwaja Nizamuddin became the Governor General of Pakistan. In 1952, Khwaja Nizamuddin publicly declared that Urdu should be the state language. Riots broke out in the city. The people who were against them, and they started rioting. In 1954, Bangla was made the co-national language of Pakistan. Although the population of East Pakistan was greater than that of West Pakistan, yet both were given equal representation in the National Assembly. As we have seen, when Pakistan came into being, West Pakistan and East Pakistan, they both were the part of Pakistan. So when elections were held, they both have the problems, and from East Pakistan we have seen 54% of the population were there, and in West Pakistan 46% of the population was there. Constitutional reforms. Corruption and the bribery became rampant and riots broke out across the country. General Ayub was appointed as the chief martial law administrator by Iskandar Mirza. He took over the control of the government himself and became the president. The first constitution was drawn up in 1956, and Governor General Iskandar Mirza became the president of Pakistan. Elections were to be held in 1958 according to this constitution, but the politicians restored it to illegal means on a large scale in order to win the elections. So these were the constitutional reforms. When they have found certain problems and issues, they try to reform rules and regulations in this regard. As far as country's law is concerned, right, people's rights are concerned, or you can say that legal or illegal issues are concerned. Okay, in the constitutional reforms, we have also seen 1962 Ayub Khan promulgated a presidential form of government which replaced the martial law. Elections were held in 1965, and Fatima Jinnah, the sister of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, contested the elections against Ayub Khan. However, Ayub Khan won these elections. In 1969, Ayub Khan resigned and handed over the government to General Yahya Khan, so who resolved the one unit scheme of West Pakistan. So there were certain issues which were going on between the leadership of Pakistan during 1962 to 1969. The next is the fall of Dhaka. That has actually a great impact on the Pakistan history. In December 1970, we have seen there were elections which were held, and the Awami League under the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won the elections. And he demanded that he should be made the prime minister, but the other leaders Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and the Yahya Khan failed to reach a decision, and the session of the National Assembly was postponed for an indefinite period. When Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won the elections, right, that decision was not actually accepted by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Yahya Khan. So that's why they have dissolved the assembly. In December 1971, we have seen Sheikh Mujibur Rahman form the new government of Bangladesh in 1972. So this is all about the initial years of Pakistan. Right, hope all of you understood it. You must do some things here to remember. Do conceptual reading of this chapter from your textbook. You must focus on its effect from the whole chapter. Mark all the important points and dates in your notebook. Thank you. Stay safe and stay at home.